Welcome once again to Shabbat Night Talks. Chief Uziel Lewy. I'm one of the teachers at Congregation Bay D.C.B. Thanking the Creator of heaven and earth for all things and everything. Molly, can you bring my phones? Miles, yeah. Thanking the Most High God for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, food, clothing, and shelter. I don't know how the stream is moving right now. I know that my son is trying out something new, so I'm over here under his... Looks like it's chopping up over here, but hopefully everything is well over there. So once again, thanking the Creator for my life. Thanking the Creator for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and all the things that He does for us. I thank the Most High King for all of you, and for allowing us the time here together to give glory unto His high and holy name. I hope everyone had a great Shabbat meal. If the stream is coming out live, coming out well out there, please give me a 1. If the stream is coming out well, please give me a 1. I'm only on YouTube tonight, so I'm only on YouTube. Maozia, can you bring my phones, Babakusha? All right, so it seems like the stream is going well, coming out well, so thanking the Most High God for that. And this is crazy right here. Okay. Got my son. He sets me up here. Now this thing is in like sleep mode. And it's showing a bunch of... It's in sleep mode and it's showing a bunch of stuff. Thank you, son. We trying things over here. So please excuse whatever might happen tonight. We just trying something new. And just wait. Hopefully the Most High God will continue to be with each and every one of us. That the Most High God will bless us, protect us, and keep us. I ask that the Creator will continue to be with Kobe Yisrael scattered in the 4 corners of the earth. And that the Creator will guide us as His people. Praying that the Most High be with the sick in the nation, be with brothers and sisters who are not doing that well, that the Most High God will strengthen them and keep them, protect them, that the Most High God will give them the will to fight on whatever it is that they might be facing, for we know that Yah, He protects His people. So we must always give glory to the Creator for Can I be heard now? Shalom, shalom. Please give me a 1 if I could be heard clearly now. Give me a 1. Please give me a 1 if I could be heard clearly now. Shalom, shalom. Please give me a 1 if I could be heard clearly now. Please give me a 1 if I could be heard clearly now. Bavakasha. All right. I'm clear now. Okay, good. So thanking the Creator once again. You know, it's important to stay focused. I just want to talk a little bit. I think it's important for us to stay focused with the Torah, because there's a lot of life-changing events that might happen. And often what I see is, throughout the years that I've been walking in this path of life, often what I see is a lot of times people begin to, because they're angry or they're upset, it might be upset with a husband, with a wife or whatever, they take out, you take out your frustrations, or they take out their frustrations, or they try to express themselves by acting as if they're freeing themselves from God, mainly the way of life. What do I mean by that? You might be going through something in your life, and then here it is, it comes that you were a God-fearing person. You were a person that walked in a path, but now because things might not be going so well with your significant other or with something in your life, now you act as if you freed yourself from, as if the way of life was a bondage, for lack of another word. So you revert back to old ways. Some people, if they were born in this way of life, feel like like you need to escape from this way of life. And for those of us that have experienced the other side and have acknowledged that God is King, then what happens is we begin to feel like, well, it's okay to go back out into the world. Understand what I'm trying to say. That's like a dog going and eating his vomit. That's something nasty. You going back into filth. We all have events in our lives. We all have situations, events, everything in our lives. Sometimes we have different events happening at the same time in our lives, but that should not dictate to you your servitude for this great King and your allegiance and your path of righteousness. When we go through things, that's what should get us closer to the Most High, not drive us far away. Because we all are going to go through events, but the events should not dictate your relationship with the Creator. And what do I mean by that? When I say it should not dictate your relationship with the Creator, it means that Yah is Yah, and He already pronounced to us that it rains on the righteous as well as the wicked. So we know that we're going to have events. We're going to have things that happen to us in our lives. Now, sometimes those things could be tests, and we might be failing the test by turning our backs on the Creator. So we have to be strong in what we do, and we have to have understanding in the things that we do, right? Don't, because you're upset with one spouse or the other, now all of a sudden you want to walk and find and be a Zen, or you want to walk and have all these these great things now, this epiphany and these great, visions, and, you forsake God and you turn your back on God. What you had or whatever relationships that you might have had should not affect what you do to God, or what you do for God, or what you're supposed to do for God. And what I mean by that is because we really can't do anything for the Creator. What I mean is our duties before the Most High God. Keeping the Sabbath, keeping the holy days, not eating certain things, how to dress, how to do certain things. People get angry and they forget about God. They turn because they angry with somebody that was a spouse or something like that. So then forget about it. I don't want to walk this way of life. So what that shows me is that this was never in your heart from the beginning, because your relationship with God is supposed to be a personal relationship, not a relationship through a person. Understand what I'm saying? Your relationship with God is not supposed to be through a person, but it's supposed to be a personal relationship with the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be your relationship with the Creator. So those are things that we have to keep in mind, brothers and sisters. I mean, God is great. He's a great king. All right. Ima Havared, please get on the we need to get somebody out the room. So so we have to I just had to block somebody from the room. Yes, you cannot serve Yah through your spouse. You have to serve Yah through your own. So you can be so infatuated with a person that you follow them to do whatever, because you might get disappointed. And then what do you have? Do you have your own personal relationship with Yah? There's many relationships out there that are formulated through one person being infatuated by another. And in fact, your infatuation is supposed to be with Yah. I know, and I was taught that a woman serves God through her husband, through her ish, or whatever. A woman has to serve God. And when she serves God, then her duties for her family, or whatever, they come. But first you got to serve Yah. Because if the Most High God takes that man away from you, and I see it many times, people bring people in, and people bring people in, or something happens to a particular person, and the person that was brought in, they gone into the wind. So you have to build your own relationship with God. And I've seen it where people have brought people in, and the people have stayed also, and that was their calling. But you cannot serve the Most High God through your spouse. You have to serve the Most High God through yourself. So we all have life-changing events and things that happen, and then you see where, like Nashim, a lot of times they will go out into the world, and then they'll have all these children and have all these children in the world, right? They'll have them all in the world, and then when the children get to a particular age, because you push so much to the children that you didn't want them to be walking this way of life, and you try to be so opposite, that now when you go through those rough patches with the children, you put so much of this hate towards a righteous path, But because you had a bad experience, but you indoctrinated the children with that hatred that you had for that spouse that you have, but you transferred it all to the way of life. You blamed it all on the way of life. So now when you hit that rough patch with those children, and I've seen this many times, now you want to send the children back to the father, right? To your ex-husband, so he could straighten them out. And it doesn't work that way. If by some reason you had a separation, or you and your Ish, or you and your Isha had a separation, don't take it out on God. I know that sounds funny when I'm saying it like that, but please don't take it out on God. God has not done anything to you. You understand? Don't take it out on Yah. Have your own relationship with Yah, women and men. Have your own relationship with Yah. Don't perpetrate a fraud. Don't be a hypocrite before God. Everything that you see or that happens, you're not going to like. But that should not be an excuse to blame the Most High God for whatever you're going through. Sometimes, like I said, the Most High God is testing you. Sometimes Yah is testing you, and you have to pass that test. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be aware what's a test and what's and when the Most High God is putting you through certain situations to see whether or not you could endure. It's as simple as that, brothers and sisters. Serve Yah. Don't be weak-minded in the things that you do. You think you can find peace. I always say this. You think you can find peace in, you know, they got all these self-help gurus and all these people all these people it's almost like an extension of that Buddhism. They get into all this Zen stuff and all this great thinking and all this stuff. Listen, meditation is great for the mind, but meditation in Torah is greater than everything. All these precepts and all these great sayings that all these self-help gurus are getting, they're getting it from Proverbs, or they're getting it from Psalms, or they're getting it from Torah, and they just putting their own spin in it. But our people forsake Torah because they might see an element or a segment of the nation and say, oh, this just turning me off. But you're supposed to read the Torah and get an understanding of it, and get an understanding of Yah. You understand what I'm saying? Get an understanding of Yah and walk with Yah. And walk with Yah. Not walk with man, because man does not determine your faith at the end. Yah does. Yah is the one that determines your faith. You know, it's a weak mind that the first thing that they think about is when they go through certain situations in life to turn their back on God or blame whatever is going on in their life on the way of life and on people, and then turn your life upside down. Because then comes the struggle, then comes the fight, then comes the, my children going to be out in the street, or this is going to happen, or that's going to happen. Now, I've seen it the reverse way too, where sisters have held on and brothers go out into the street and do what they want to do. I've seen it. It's not a, I've been around long enough to see it both ways. But for most part, you see it where sisters are the ones that are doing this, for most part. But like I said, I've seen it both ways. Now, what do we need? We need a stronger foundation with Yah. I understand that this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to live. But don't, sisters, brothers, don't play those games with the Yeladim. I'll advise you this. And I will say this to you. If you're contemplating it out there, because sometimes we need therapy. Sometimes we need to sit on the couch. Sometimes we just need to talk, you know. And I know it might be some people out there contemplating, and you get angry, you get upset, and you figure you spiting a person, and then you get to things, you start saying things like, oh, this is the only way that I could get a peace of mind, you know. I had to remove myself from that situation. You know, these are all the things that you hear throughout the years. I've been around long enough so I could tell you. You know, I had to remove myself from the situation. You know, and I had to, you know, I needed time for myself. So that time for yourself, I've heard that many times. That time for yourself never been good. It's always been damaging to the mind, and it's always because you're not around the fire. Once you get from around the fire, you compromise everything. Shabbat means nothing to you. Pesach is coming up. You don't think about straightening up and cleaning up. You do it halfway. You do halfway everything, and that's how you get further and further away from the Most High God. Your relationship with God is supposed to be solid, not through a person. We don't serve God through no in between. We serve God directly. We glorify His name. We uplift His name. Families hurting, people hurting, and all types of things is because of the actions that we take. Because we cannot deal, and it's a selfishness in a way to where you're not thinking about the other person. Meaning, if you walk in Torah for a certain amount of time, for a certain amount of years, and for you to just get up, it's a commitment. You know what I'm saying? It's a commitment. It's not only a commitment to one another, but it's a commitment to God first and foremost. So therefore, even if there's a separation, when the separation comes, or when when there's a divorce or anything of that manner, right? When you get that, there's no separation from God. Or I'm not divorced to her, I'm not married to her anymore, so I could do what I want to do. I'm not married to him anymore, so bye-bye. I go do whatever I want to do. You think that's the answer? This great King will judge us for everything that we do, for all the things that we do. When you take a man's child and you turn them out to the world, and you know better, but you teach them things to go against Torah, then the Most High God eventually is going to catch up to you. You take a woman's child because you got the child on the weekend and you was a Torah doer, but now you get the child on the weekend and you make sure that on the Shabbat that you out there with that child playing basketball or have them running around or doing things that go contrary to Torah, then the Most High God will eventually catch up to you. These are the things that people do. God going to eventually catch up to you. You see, people, what happens is the Most High God gives you a false sense of security. You feel like like your life is better. Things are looking up. Things are looking good. But it'd be that unexpected time. It'd be that unexpected time. Thank you, son. It'd be that unexpected. Miles, here. You know there was one that was in the freezer, right?
Yeah.
This is the one from the freezer. Thank you. You get that unexpected time where God hits you and He'll bring it to memory and to your face. So let's watch what we do in Israel. Let's be mindful of the things that we're doing, and let's get and build our own relationship with the Creator. We have to do that individually with the Creator. Because He watches everything that we do. And He's going to judge us for everything that we do. Yes, He is. He's not going to let it slide. He's not going to let it slide. So you might think you're getting away with it. You might think that everything is lovely and everything is good. And that you live in a better life. But eventually, that hammer will come down. And He's never been proven wrong. He always drops the hammer. Always drops the hammer. Let's not play games with the Most High God. Kids play games, and He will eventually catch up to us if we continue to He will eventually get to you. Yeah, once you repent, He will remember that sin no more. But if you go back into that vomit, He will recall it to your face. So we cannot play with the great King. So let's be aware of the things that we do to hurt. Let's things that we do. A lot of the times what is from the Torah. Sometimes as a man, you leave your house, chase you think is going to be better, and it happened. You know what I'm saying? You got a wife, you got a Isha, you might have Nashim. That's a reality also. There's brothers that have Nashim. That means women. I say it like that because I'm not one. You don't hear me much talk about that or be one to push that, because those that do it, and they know the responsibility with that and the burden that comes with that. So those that do it, and I don't knock people that do it, and I don't knock people that don't do it. It is what it is. But that's the reality. And a lot of times, a lot of them come from situations like that. And it's unfortunate because there's a lot of things. You see, and I'm going to just touch on this once and leave it like that. Every now and then I touch on it. To leave as a man, to abandon your children is one of the worst things that you could do. abandon them and then turn your back on God, that's one of the worst things that you could do. In whichever order, you know, turning your back on God first and then abandoning your children, because that's your responsibility. As a woman, when you abandon ship, you just run off the ship and say, I've had it. You know, he and I'll use the example, he got another Isha, I can't take it, whatever. All right, good, you can't take it or whatever. But this is the hypocrisy that I see a lot of times in Israel, and with a lot of these women that do this. And I'm not talking about all sisters, because all sisters are not this way. That's a conversation that you and your Ish gotta have before that step is taken, that you have to understand, he has to understand, and y'all have to be on the same page as far as if a man is going to have another or not. But you riff with a man about another, you even leave, you divorce the man, and then on the other hand, and I've seen this several times, you go mess with some other guy that already has a wife and a woman, so you actually step down to be with another guy, but yet you were upset with your husband because he was trying to do it in a righteous way, a righteous fashion. Now, to each his own. I'm not telling you go do this or whatever. I'm just showing you an example of what I've seen and what I think is hypocritical in some people. But that's just me. I've seen that on more than one occasion, more than two occasions. This is the reality. This is the conditions of a battle, and this is what a lot of us is going through. I just felt like talking today about some of the issues that happen, because we need to get on the couch sometimes. You know what I'm saying? We need to get on the couch sometimes, and we just need to have a self-analysis and look at yourself in the mirror and say, darn, man, is my feelings, are my feelings really, you know, my feelings are really what's guiding me, or is it the Torah of the Creator? Or is it the Torah of the Creator? Which one you going to choose? You got to choose one or the other. God gave us a choice. Moses gave us a choice. He said, but he told us to choose life. Sometimes these type of talks, you know, people don't like them, is this, is that. I'm not a marriage guru. I don't counsel marriage. You know, I don't do any of that stuff. A book, you want to talk precepts or whatever, yeah, I'll do that. But I got elders, and we got elders in the midst of us that could better talk about those things. You know? So, and let's just do what's right. Let's just walk in the righteous path. Let's just try to uphold ourselves with dignity. and righteousness before the Creator, and not let our emotions and our feelings take over. Because when that, and you know, I don't just want to say it like that, because we all deal with emotions. It's wrong for people to say, oh, you shouldn't be so emotional. People are emotional, but there's a thing of controlling our emotions. And do you really believe in the Creator, or do you really believe in what you believe in? Because that's what God said that Israel did. We waxed fat and kick, and we started believing that all the things that happen is because of our own strength and our own might, and it didn't go that way. They're elders in the community. There's different things set up in different places. The problem with us is that, and I'm gonna tell you straight up, everything that you learn in Christianity, I'll repeat this, everything that we learned in Christianity was not wrong. And I don't mean, and when I say that, I don't mean by the doctrine. Certain things that they had in place in order for things to work a certain way. Now, all marriages are not done the same way through history. This is a proven fact. Every marriage was not the same. I don't care what nation you was from. Everybody didn't have a big wedding ceremony. Some people never had wedding ceremony, but husband and wives, even here in America and other parts of the world, everybody did not hook up by having a big wedding ceremony and understood that that's that man's wife and that's her ish. And even here in the United States, they have a common law. They have a common law marriage, meaning that if you've been with a man long enough, and even if you don't have no documentation, some states grant you the rights of a wife because you've been with that man so long, you had children with them, that you are acknowledged. You just don't have any legal documentation in the state, but in the eyes of God, you're legally married. So marriage is a tricky thing. It speaks about a man that goes to war and brings back a wife. She's not having a ceremony. Her family just finished getting wiped out, and he brought her back. There's no written ceremony or way that you're supposed to do it, right? We do see in some instances with the Philistines that there was with Samson, that they did throw a ceremony, right? But that's about the only instance that I could remember in the Tanakh, right? That they threw a feast, a ceremony, and the friends came out and blase, 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 blah. But like I said, in all instances, now unless we start reading the Jewish commentary and the Jewish books, the Talmud and things like that, which give you a regulation for it, which many of us don't accept, then you're talking about something different. But everything else is speculation, because what Torah tells you about marriage is plain and simple. It doesn't say you have to have a ceremony. It tells you the dowry of a virgin. There's certain things, but it's not specific. So do I think some people had ceremonies? Of course, but I don't think that every situation called for, like, everybody was just having a ceremony. Certain situation, it was like, all right, this woman, this man, they got together, and that's just how it went, you know. But that's the way I perceive it, because if you look at history, even till today, some people been doing it like that. So everything wasn't a wedding ceremony. Everything wasn't that. All right. So but it's still that man's wife because they've been living as husband and wife, and it's an understood thing that that's his woman, that's his Isha. You know what I'm saying? So, excuse me. So, I just want to say that, you know, now I'm not saying that every time. Now, I seen somebody put a comment up there. No, every time you have sex with a woman, that don't make her your wife. That's not, oh, we had sex, so you're my wife. That's not, you know. A marriage is an agreement, right? Is an agreement between either families, fathers, if it was an arranged marriage, or if it's a husband and a wife, a man and a woman come to an agreement, and this is what they are. So then that space is not supposed to be violated, right? That space of marriage is not supposed to be violated. That's why it says the rage of a man is who can stop him, you know, the jealousy of a man. So that's why that space is not supposed to be violated. It's as simple as that. So we just have to be aware, keep things in mind, think about the things that we do to hurt one another, think about the things that we do to not consider the children and everybody else, family members that's involved, because now you want to go live life the way you want to live it. But there's a judge in the heavens that will bring all of our works into judgment, as it said, and he will begin to judge between us. Perfection was of Abraham. You're not going to find a perfect person. You're going to find people that make mistakes. One of my teachers used to say, you're not an Abraham, but you're looking for a Sarah. And what did that mean? Abraham was called wholehearted. He was perfect. Well, you're not perfect, right? So why are you looking for the mate of perfection? We're going to come with ways that are not perfect, but we work. You understand what I'm saying? We work on whatever it is that we have, and then you try to work it out within yourself and with your mate or whatever. You try to make it work. So perfection, we strive for perfection, but we're not perfect, you know. We strive for perfection, but none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. But I have a conviction for this way of life. And even with having a conviction for this way of life, I make mistakes. I might make errors. I do things that maybe someone else might look at them as being offensive, but I don't mean to offend you. I'm just living a particular way, but you might get offended by it. I'm sorry. I might say things that offend. I mean, it says in a multitude of words that someone is bound to make an error. That's a proverb. So I know I've made errors, and I've said things to offend people along the way. And but my conviction for this way of life and for this Torah, no one could question that. I strive to walk before the Creator. and to do what I'm supposed to do. So I give glory to this great King. I give thanks to this great King for my life, for the life of my loved ones. I give thanks to the Most High God for the good and the bad, because the good is always good, but the bad you learn too. Listen, and I know that God works. Believe me, I know that the Most High God, He works, because I was asking for something, and you know, sometimes life, you get into little financial things and struggles or whatever, but nothing more than what you can't bear. And you know, you ask God for certain things, and He sends it to you. He sends it to you directly, but in an indirect way, if you understand what I mean. And He brings a smile, you know, and it brings a smile to your face when you know where it's coming from. And you know that Yah is still working with you. Even through the tough times and the hard times, and you like, wow, I'm going through this stress, or I'm going through this stuff in my life, and then Yah sends you something like, boom, I'm still with you, my girl. Still with you, my boy. I haven't forgotten you. I'm answering your prayer. So then how can we complain? Because He's still working with us. Yah's still working with us. And so, although I go through my stresses and I go through life and certain things like that, God's still showing me, like, I got you. I'm going to hold you down. I got you, son, as we say in the streets. He literally could say, I got you, son. Don't worry. Don't stress yourself out over those things. That's how magnificent this great King is. And He doesn't forsake us. He doesn't forsake us. So, giving honor and praise to this great King, I think that's going to be it for tonight. We just have to sit every now and then, every so many few months, we sit down on the couch. You know how we do it. We just got to have a heart-to-heart family, heart-to-heart, hoping and praying that you've gotten something out of tonight's lesson. I hope I didn't offend anyone, because it was to edify. I was speaking to myself also. When I speak like this, I'm also speaking to myself. So to everyone out there, don't forget to support us once again. And the AM, I'm about ready to call it a night. I'm tired. And may the Most High God, King of the universe, bless each and every one of you. And may the Most High God continue to answer each and every one of your prayers. Shalom, shalom, family. And everyone have a great night, a blessed night. Shalom.